Hello and welcome back together to this weekly update on the financial markets. I will cover today with you the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold, Bitcoin against the US dollar, and a couple of single stocks I'm looking to trade right now. I will show you all my open trades and the trades I plan for the coming days and weeks. So let's start directly in with the weekly time frame and the S&P 500 index. Yeah, the S&P 500 index on a weekly time frame, like promised, looks absolutely bullish and pretty much stretched to the upside. We have an intact uptrend with higher highs and higher lows following each other. An intact weekly solid orange uptrend line supported by a 200 moving average. If we measure from the low of the movement to the high of the movement with this Fibonacci retracement tool, we can see that we are nearing the first extension level of this Fibonacci tool. And there is also my take profit for my current trade. And yeah, let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame to see more in detail. You can see I was not deleting this broken weekly uptrend line that broke down, and we have seen this massive 20% correction. Normally I delete that one out of the chart, but in this case, oftentimes this acts as resistance again if we test it from the lower side, and at the moment it's acting as resistance. You can also see that the MACD indicator is declining down while prices are rising. That's a divergence, and normally that means that prices have to come down sooner or later, and it's a pretty strong bull trend. Otherwise we would have finally seen the breakdown earlier, but it's holding pretty well here. My expectation is that we have seen here the break, a retest, and we will break the retest to the downside and make a corrective move back to the last major all-time highs here, at least. Probably in an ABC correction. Let me draw that one in. Maybe something like this, then higher highs and higher lows again, and continuation of the overall uptrend into my take profit target. That's my expectation. Nothing has changed right now on that view. I'm not sidestepping that. I'm staying in my long trade. If we have seen this correction and a break higher from there, I would also move my stop loss level to my entry level to take the trade risk free. Of course, we can turn and come all the way back down, but I think my stop loss at the moment is well protected. That's all I have for the S&P 500 index. Ain't so much has changed since last week. So we go to the next asset, US oil. Oil also starting at a weekly time frame. You can see a red monthly solid downtrend line. That one got broken to the upper side, supported by the 200 moving average. Since then, we are moving inside a weekly corrective move. You could argue that this looks like an ABC pattern. Point C maybe being already in, but maybe it's even lower. We will see. The 200 moving average was support and turned resistance, so you can be first sure that we'll see higher prices for oil if we leave behind on a weekly basis this 200 moving average. It would be a nice indicator for long-lasting rising prices, but so far it's looking more bearish. On the daily time frame, you can see that I was able to draw a white solid downtrend line with a double bottom situation here, then a rise and violation of this weekly orange downtrend line, but then collapsed directly back down. This here was news driven. Since then we are consolidating lower. I was able to draw in a secondary weekly white dotted downtrend line, but I think I first get interested in trading oil again above this last high here, or like I have shown you on the weekly, the 200 moving average. If we drop even one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame, yeah, it looks like with MACD divergence we will maybe come a little bit higher, maybe retesting here the 200 moving average or this secondary daily downtrend line, but then continue lower. It's a little bit range bound at the moment, so I'm not expecting huge moves right now from US oil. Write me in the comments if you have another view than myself on this asset. I would be really interested in that. Next, gold. Gold also here on the weekly time frame, after getting above this often tested resistance zone on the weekly, we finally have moved higher, and since then we know only one direction, and that's up, with higher highs and higher lows following each other at the moment. Consolidation, sideways consolidation on an all-time high level. That's pretty bullish in my view. For sure we can see a breakdown that wouldn't violate the overall uptrend, but then we could continue still higher. But there's absolutely a possibility that we stay in this range until we break out to the upper side. It's, in my view, the more likely scenario. If we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see that the white solid uptrend is still intact. The secondary is broken, but it seems like we're moving into a triangle formation here. And I already set up a new long trade setup. The buy stop would be above these two prior highs of this sideways consolidation, and the stop loss would be below the recent low here. And I would risk 2% of my account balance in this trade. The take profit target would be a risk reward ratio of 2.5 higher, so near the $4,000 mark. That would bring me around 5.5% in my account balance. But yeah, still the possibility that we will decline from here lower and retest this daily white solid uptrend line, probably in a combination with the 200 moving average in the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level. And from there on, that would be also a good spot for expectation of higher prices, and that would get us probably also some trading opportunity right there. But so far, nothing really has changed since last week. If we drop one time from lower to the forward time frame, you can see it just in more detail. Here, another reason why I placed my stop loss right there is this 4-hour support zone. So I expect price to stop declining there and rise higher. And the entry level is for sure above this prior highs and also this 4-hour resistance zone. That's all I have for gold. Next, Bitcoin against the US dollar. Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, yeah, looks pretty bullish. Higher highs followed by higher lows. At the moment, the first extension level of the Fibonacci retracement tool from the last recent low to the last recent high reached at $125,000 per coin, and at the moment make the dividends to price on the weekly, and we will probably see next week the cross to the downside here. So a lot speaks for consolidation to the downside for continuation of the overall uptrend. If we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see that also the white solid daily uptrend line is violated to the downside. We haven't seen a lower low till now, or not really, but if we see that, I would expect a huge correction. My favorite scenario would be that we wouldn't correct lower than this daily support zone, but there's absolutely the possibility that we will see even a lower retest before continuation higher. I placed my stop loss slightly below this last ABC correction and the 200 moving average. I hope that there my stop loss is well protected. But if we see prices below that ABC correction, the uptrend is definitely broken. So I'm not sure if we want to stay in a trade or risk at least a lot in this trade, even if we are right now in a nice profit. We have to see. I decide later what I will do if we see prices that low, and I will inform you like always in my next video. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Whereas my take profit target, my trade profit target is way higher, around $143,000 per coin, would bring me 7.7% in my account balance. If we go back to the weekly, you will see why I placed this take profit there, because of this Fibonacci extension level number 2. And that's at $146,000, so I stayed conservative, slightly below that one. Back to the daily and even to the 4-hour time frame. Here you can see this 4-hour support zone and downtrend line, blue dotted, and ABC correction, the breakout, higher high, retest, and yeah, my expectation could also be that we will continue from here higher if we don't see a low below these 2 points here, or the 4 support zone. Could absolutely be possible, but yeah, have in mind that we can even break lower also. But I think there's more upside in the cards for Bitcoin for this 4-year Bitcoin cycle. That's all I have for these 4 assets. Next, the single stocks, beginning with AOS. Yeah, AOS went onto my screen because of 3 similar situations, the third one right now. So I analyzed the prior 2 to make a conclusion what can happen in the third situation. And if we have a look at that, we can see every time a downtrend, a break of the downtrend, a slightly higher high, a second corrective move followed by the 200 moving average, and from there higher prices. Here, the same scenario, downtrend, breakout, retest, slightly higher high, second retest supported by the 200 moving average, and rising prices. And pretty similar, it's this time downtrend, breakout, retest, second slightly higher high, retest, breakout, supported by the 200 moving average. So I went into a long position. If we drop to the 4-hour time frame, you can see even a head and shoulders formation with the 4-hour support or resistance zone, in this case being the neckline of this formation. And yeah, I traded the breakout. Stop loss is below the last major low here and the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame, risking 0.5% of my account balance to make 2.4 times more risk and stay with that pretty conservative below the last major resistance zones and all-time highs. Next, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix was chosen because I have done a backtest. I will make in recent time a video about this backtest and how I approached it. And on this backtest, I have got the result that it's not so unprofitable to trade a change from MACD to the negative to the positive if we see both lines below 0. And that was here the case. We are in an uptrend. We are above the 200 moving average, and we stopped the decline perfectly at the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, all bullish indicators. Then I went one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame to analyze it in more detail. There I was able to draw in a two-dotted downtrend line and a 4-hour resistance zone in combination with this 200 moving average. And I decided to trade that asset long if we see a push above the 200 moving average, the resistance zone, and this downtrend line. My stop loss will be placed below the last major low. We have seen also here MACD divergence to the upper side on the 4-hour time frame, and my take profit would be 2 times my risk to the upper side. So I risk again 0.5% to make in total 1%. That's Netflix. Next, Investor.AB. Investor.AB has a nice long-lasting uptrend, so the ideal asset for long trades. We can see if I take the Fibonacci tool from low to the high of the movement, we got a nice test of the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. Since then we are rising, retesting again the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, and I was able to draw in a daily support and then turn resistance zone here. We already got slightly above that one, but I'm waiting for final confirmation with getting above this 2 prior highs in combination with the daily 200 moving average to the upside. If the combination of the 200 moving average and such a support resistance zone exists, then it's often a good idea to trade the breakout to the upper side statistically. My stop loss is placed again with 0.5% of my account balance below the last major low, and my take profit is 2 times my risk away to the upper side, staying below the next Fibonacci extension level. So pretty conservative again. Trade gotten triggered right now, but maybe in the coming days and weeks. Next, Tesla. Tesla was in the past an asset with extensive moves to the upper side after a consolidation, and this looks to me also like a consolidation supported by the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame. If we go back to the normal chart, not logarithmic, and the daily time frame, you can see we had a weekly downtrend line. That one got broken to the upper side. We have seen afterwards new all-time high, then we collapsed because of the scandals about Elon Musk, and he's the CEO of Tesla. And we have seen a huge decline, found the bottom, and was breaking above this daily white solid downtrend line. And since then we are moving inside the triangle formation. As we have already seen a breakout and a retest, we can see it better on the 4-hour time frame. And now it seems like the retest gets broken to the upper side the next couple of days, and that's the moment where I want to go into a long position with my stop loss 0.5% of my account balance below a swing low of inside this triangle, and my take profit would be again 2 times my risk away to make around 1% if I'm risking 0.5% on this trade. That's all I have for Tesla. Next, Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire at the weekly time frame, it's a stock that in the long term is rising, so again still ideal for a long trade opportunity. MACD on the weekly seems to get higher, so it went into negative, and now I think in the next couple of weeks it turns positive. That's a bullish sign. If we take the daily uptrend line, we can see we had a retest here on a high level, and if we drop one time frame lower to the daily, you can see that we went out of this uptrend channel. Yes, we got below the 200 moving average, yes, but I think here at the moment, because of this white solid uptrend line, that's a good support area, and we're again getting above this 200 moving average on a daily time frame. It's often a good idea to trade that one if we see also here support and resistance, which is the case in this stock, in combination with the MACD divergence. MACD is rising, prices have been falling, and that's a good idea to trade it to the upper side. I did that. I'm already in a trade with the stop loss below the last major swing low, risking 0.5% of my account balance if the trade is going against me, and 2 times more risk to the upper side, still staying below the upper line of this price channel. So also conservative is my take profit area. We drop 1 time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame. You can see it in more detail. The 200 moving average of the 4-hour time frame is also supporting this idea, and this 4-hour support and resistance zone is also broken to the upper side. Short term, I'm expecting a smaller pullback and then rising before turning to the upper side, way before we see my stop loss level getting triggered. Next, Snap-on. Snap-on Cooperated is also a stock that's on long term rising. The weekly uptrend is still intact with smaller pullbacks in between. We had recently a pullback. MACD on the weekly crossed also already to the upper side. We have still intact white solid daily downward line. So until price stays below that, everything stays bearish. But if we get above it, things could change to the bullish side. We had a nice bottom formation here, then went from declining prices to rising prices. The 200 moving daily average is at the moment resistance for price, but soon it could be the case that we will see prices above this 200 moving average. Here was the last major swing high, and if we see prices above that one, I think the room is free for more bullish price action. Stop loss will be placed below this daily support and resistance zone and the last swing low here of the 4-hour price action, I would say. And I was also able to draw in a secondary 4-hour blue dotted uptrend line here that's at the moment acting as support for price, and I'm not expecting to see a pull below that before breaking higher above this daily white solid downtrend line. Again risking 0.5% of my account balance to make 2 times my risk, staying below the Fibonacci extension level here, the first one, because that often acts as resistance. I measured again with the Fibonacci tool from the last major low to the last major high to get this retracement and extensions levels. And like you can notice, the resistance or pullback level of the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement tool has worked again beautifully well. That's all I have for this weekly update. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you liked that video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Till next week, bye bye.